Okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
Well,
Jump
it's
on.
been a little bit of time since we've done a live, so
Yes.
a little bit rusty.
We are very rusty. Who knows what recorded before now, but hi, everybody.
We've been doing the Hump Day Astrology, but we haven't been doing it live. So now that we're doing it live, it's just it's been a little while. So welcome. I'm Rob Barnes with Astrology by Rob.
I am Susan Farmer with Astrology and Soul. And I'm listening to the phone go off as people, I think, join live on this.
Yeah, if you're here, go ahead and send us a hello. We'll be looking, I think you have a phone that
Yes.
you're looking at to see if
I'm a
you
phone.
have something. I
see
don't know if we can,
comments.
I don't know if we can see it very well on the computer screen, but
Yeah.
we'll see.
You're about 20 seconds, it looks like, behind us. So if you do comment, I will continually check, but it won't be immediate.
Yeah.
So we wanted to jump live today just to say hi. And it's always so much more fun when people talk, talk to us. So please talk.
We miss doing live because we miss the interaction with people.
Yeah.
And so we know that when we go live, oftentimes people will jump on and say hello and so on.
Yes.
So care to share a little bit about what's going on with you and things that you have going on?
Not today. You go ahead and do it.
Okay.
I know you have classes and stuff, so we'll just take the time on yours. I have my readings. Go to astrologyandsoul.com, check them out, book. Super fun. My charging stuff, the bracelets, they're done today, preparing them. Gonna send texts to people. That's what's going on for me.
Okay.
Yep.
So I have my monthly astrology study group starting tomorrow. We're starting a new series based on the planets. Last year we did the houses. So we're starting with the moon, which is cool because the moon is your deep inner self. And I like to look at it as this is the part of you that you got to get to know. Everyone knows their sun sign, which is like I'm a Pisces. The sun was in the sign of Pisces when I was born, but a lot of people don't know their moon sign. And it's your moon sign that's your deep inner self. So how can you neglect that deep inner self?
Yep, you definitely have to take care of your moon to be happy.
So that's what our study group's about. So whether you're a beginner on astrology, a novice, more experienced, it's not like I'm teaching a class. We're just getting together, and whoever shows up, we all read together whoever shows up. So if you attend, we'll read about your moon, and then you can help others if you have that skill to help others read as well.
So they get individual attention with their own chart, which is always awesome.
Yeah. And, since we did it all last year, it's really a cool group, and, obviously really good people that show up. Mm-hmm. And very helpful. And we're all learning together how to look at charts and get to know yourselves and
right.
Work with it.
I attended, I think, once last year, and to some degree, you think you know astrology, right? So it's fun to attend a group like that if you're a beginner or not, because you get kind of stuck in your ruts and then you are learning from other people, and other people see things and perspectives, and it was really fun.
Yeah. So I have that going on, and then I have astrology and well, I forgot the other part of it. Astrology and self-learning. Anyway, it's on my Astrology by Rob page, my Facebook page, starting the following Thursday. Astrology and self-study. So it's basically 3 consecutive Thursday nights where we're going to be talking about astrology and learning how to self-study. So you can check that one out again on Astrology by Rob. My Facebook astrology page. And then we have Discovery Night with the Astrology Club of Utah, which will be the 21st, Friday night. That's held at Synchronicities. So we're meeting in person. So the club's back. So if you're watching this live, go to the Astrology Club of Utah Facebook page and give it a like. Look at the Discovery Night event, sign up for that. And Discovery Night happens every other month. We have an Inquest Night that happens every other month. Discovery Night, we're going to be talking about location. So does location affect your chart? Does it affect you? I know from personal experience, my chart responded, or my characteristics responded in some ways better or worse, depending on where I lived. I lived in Louisiana. I lived in California. I lived here in Utah, and I saw differences in each of those places. So that's what we're going to be taking a look at for this Discovery Night. So again, that's Friday the 21st from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. at Synchronicities in Sandy.
And it's buy one, get one free in July.
That's a cool deal. 22 bucks. Bring a friend.
And you can go to either of our websites, only mine up until 7 days ahead though. So you might just want to go to Rob's astrologybyrob.com, book it. It is a really good deal. Will tell us what place you want us to look up.
Yep. We'll have some fun with it.
Yep.
Saying, is Utah a good place for you? We'll find out. So for the Hump Day Astrology, we have kind of a light week again. Last week was a light week. This week, we don't have a whole lot of transits to talk about. So we have the Sun, sextile Uranus, and then the biggie are the nodes changing signs.
Right.
So
do you know when the Sun sextiles Uranus? Do you remember the day? Because I lost my book and I didn't look it up. I did look up the chart of the moment, and it looks like it's about 2 degrees away. So I'm assuming happens in about 2 days.
what's today? The 12th?
Yeah.
So everything happens before the 19th. So was it the 17th? And I can look it up if you want to talk and keep everyone company.
I mean, it's building anyway. Yeah. It's already within 3 degrees, and you start feeling it. And Uranus is at 22 and the Sun is at 20. So the Sun.
So 2 days.
Yes. So the Sun is about to make that exact sextile. So in astrology, usually that 3 degree orb is when you really start feeling the intensity of it. You can feel it before that based on your wiring and how you feel things. But 3 degrees, it really starts speaking, and you can see, what's going to happen. And I wouldn't really say, normally we wouldn't talk about a sextile, right? Mm-hmm. But when it has to do with the Sun and Uranus, maybe a bigger thing, you guys tell us, because it's a really electrifying feeling. Like I was trying to explain it to someone the other day. When Uranus is touching the Sun, and especially your own Sun, right? And it's not. We're just talking about generally in the sky, Uranus and the Sun are coming together in a conversation that's pretty chill. And we'll talk about that in a minute, what to do with a chill conversation. But I gotta say, it's also fun to talk about a chill conversation instead of this is hard. This is hard. This is hard. This one I would say it will drain your energy. That's the thing with Sun sextile Uranus or Sun Uranus, I find the most, because Uranus is such that vibration of electricity. So when I was talking to someone the other day and they were asking what they would be feeling, I was like, well, just consider the Emperor on Star Wars, and he's doing that finger thing, where he's like, and they're like,
Darth Sidious.
That's what it can feel like. So you could feel tired. There's, a few other things going on right now that would add possibly to that. So that's what I would watch for, kind of the tiredness. Say, am I feeling like, do I need to rest? Is there something? And then maybe while you're sitting there resting, something will come to you as far as that Uranian energy. So why don't you go into, if you want to, go into like what the sun and Uranus signify, just generally for people. And then we can talk a little more about the transit, the sextile, what that means.
Yeah, the sun is what it's yourself. So I look at the sun as, if we want to use an analogy, the car you drive. So you being the driver would be the moon, your deep inner self. So what is the sun? It's how you're doing your life. It's how you're experiencing this world. And so it's what people get to know. So they don't always see the deep driver inside, but they get to see who you are, and that would kind of be that car.
Especially if they have a mask on.
Yeah. So I kind of look at it
Do you get
as,
the pun because of your rising sign?
yes.
Sorry.
So the sun is how you're doing life. It's some people will say your ego. I just like to say it's what I know to be true about me. It's what I identify with. So when I look at Uranus, then I look at the unexpected. I mean, astrology existed for, a long time, using just the 7 traditional planets, all the way up through Jupiter and Saturn. And then all of a sudden we have this new planet that jumps into the scenes. Was it 1300s or the 1400s? Uranus, and kind of throws a monkey wrench in this whole astrological picture. So it kind of takes on the feel of something unexpected, something that's going to overhaul, change the way things are, liberate, cause freedom or a drive for freedom, buck the system, rebel, all these different energies would be Uranus. So I kind of look at when the sun and Uranus tie together through, like in this case, a sextile, there could be unexpected events, and depending on where it is taking place in your chart.
Right. I think, would you say there would always be unexpected events with sun and Uranus? Really with Uranus, always?
Uranus is always,
Usually?
yes. No matter where it touches, whatever it touches, it's going to cause that unexpected thing.
Right.
So
right.
in this case, the sun, and it might be, it's like you have some surprise encounter, again, depending on what house it's in.
Right. Yeah, I just wanted to add to that a little bit. My take on the sun are, we say it a little different ways. It means the same thing. Mine is like, it's really the goal. It is the goal in life that you're trying to get to. It's those things you're aspiring for. If, taking Rob's analogy, if you're in a car, you're wanting to go somewhere. Your emotional needs are wanting to drive to a place. And I see that as your sun sign. I tend to my clients to see their sun sign as a major focus of life's ups and downs in their life. And as they're going through it, they're trying to figure out this energy, this new archetype, this new way of being. I'm not saying it's completely new, but it seems to be a little, well, it is more foreign to them than their sun. So I always found it interesting in, mainstream astrology. Everyone's like, oh, you're your sun, you're your sun, you're your sun. I haven't necessarily found that. I think you absolutely identify with it. You have those attributes. Like you said, it's such a main part of you, but it is some of those, it feels goal oriented. Like, how can I figure this out? I got to figure this part of me out. This is what I want in my life. This is where I want to go in my life. How can I do that? Mm-hmm. And so goal is the word I use. And then when you bring Uranus to it, I loved how you, just as you were talking, I was like visualizing, well, what was going on in the day and age. And I know there's a lot of historical things that were going on when Uranus was found, what's the word?
Discovered.
Yes. I'm like invented.
Created.
No, I'm like, that's not it. And in life, I feel like we're always kind of itching for a little bit of change,
Mhm.
a little bit of revolution. Is that what it's called? And so what a perfect planet just to come in whenever to kind of help you do that. It is a very people hate when I say rebellious, and I think you've come up with a different term for that. I kind of stick with rebellious because it is, and there's nothing wrong.
It can be, for sure.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. I see that in a person, if you're feeling that rebellion, something's not sitting right with you, and you do want change. So if something's not sitting right, then how are you going to weave that through life and make those changes? And to do that, you kind of have to get a little feisty and electric and not care and just go for it and do it. Now, there's always that side of something that's just like, I'm not going to do anything anyone says, which most people take as rebellious. That's not the rebellious I'm saying we can use to further our life. But when the sun and Uranus come together, it is a really great time to take stock into, where do I want change? Where do I feel that urge to maybe shake things up a bit and go a different, not even maybe a different direction, maybe just a little, maybe veer a little bit, because you want change, something's not sitting right with you.
Yeah. So if it's hitting the sun, then it's provoking something with the sun. So the sun would be going through Cancer. So what you would look for is, where's Cancer in your chart? Because Uranus is 22 Taurus. So you would look at, Taurus, it's been going through Taurus for a while, it still will for a while. So wherever Taurus, 22 degrees Taurus is in your chart, that's probably the area of life where you've been experiencing some kind of breakout, some new technology, some sort of breakthroughs. I kind of, there's this picture that I always reference in my readings when I'm talking about Uranus, that is basically a statue, and you may have seen it before, and it has all these cracks throughout the body of the statue and light peering from the cracks. And I look at this statue as kind of a symbolic of what we're going through with Uranus. Something, some truth, some true you from within is trying to break forward or break out. And it wants change, it wants to innovate, do something different. Taurus is this old fixed pile of earth. It's just it's solid form, and it's unmovable, unbreakable, and doesn't change. But yet Uranus is going through there, trying to push through and make change happen. So I kind of think of big sledgehammer blows to some big statue, and then a crack, and then the light starts peering through. And a lot of people are going through that. And again, whatever area Taurus is in your chart. And so this would be another one of those times, but it might be tied in this time to something where, where Cancer is. So we look at those two areas, the Cancer area and the Taurus area, for those two planets.
With that being said, if you want to take the Taurus archetype that Rob just talked about, and then you have to mesh the Cancer archetype. So how are you individually owning, which would be the sun, your emotional body? So your emotions, which is Cancer, your intuition, Cancer, something might happen that might be surprising with family, where there's been this long sitting tradition, Taurus, that Uranus is like, let's break this open. The sun comes in, sextiles, and something happens in the family or your home or intuitively or, empathically. Cancer is ruled by the moon. So it can be a little moody. Is there something in your demeanor, in your life that you want change in? Are you feeling, because it's close to a new moon as well. The new moon is on Monday, the 17th. We missed that. The new moon in Cancer is Monday. And it would be a really good time in the next few days to, if you make those new moon intentions, to really think about emotionally in life, how am I doing? And how is my moon? If you know what your moon is, how am I taking care of my moon? And how is that sitting with who I am, my goals, the sun, where I'm going in life, and then mixing that, where have I been stuck and maybe feel a little shooken up with maybe a little pebble of rebellion or want to change or see what happens in your life. It's happening in a sextile. So it's not going to be as dominant as a square. A square or an opposition, those are some of the harder feelings. Now, I think to me, Uranus always shakes things up. No matter what, if you're feeling like, oh, I'm being pushed to change, there's a sledgehammer, like Rob said, hitting me to change, probably not always going to feel great and can be very surprising. And Uranus is surprises, and it can be good or bad. There's not really a set default on that. But a sextile kind of works together, but not completely. So if it was two water signs, it would happen really easily and fast, almost subconsciously, and it would, in a way, flow. We have a sextile. So we have Taurus, which is an earth sign, and Cancer, which is a water sign. So we're trying to mesh that earth and water together. So practicality, emotions. What do you say for earth signs? Time? Is it the time?
Time, body.
Time, body. And with this sextile, there's going to be a situation that it's there for you to tweak just a little bit, if you can, that you really need to be cognizant and watching for it. Otherwise it can pass you by.
Yeah, it's an opportunity that is going to present itself. Yeah. You have to know how to, I don't know how to, but look for the opportunity over the next couple of days. What is it that's being presented? You talked a little bit about Taurus and Cancer as signs. We don't know your houses.
Right.
And
it's gonna
otherwise,
happen. Yeah.
We'd talk about your houses specifically, because this is where some of this might make some more sense. So if it was, a first house and a, say, third house, then you could tie in themes of first house and third house and say, oh, well, somewhere between me and, I don't know, my siblings or my neighborhood, some opportunity that might present itself. Without knowing your houses, we wouldn't be able to really do a very good treatment of it.
And that's good. Do you want to throw out, that would be because it's a good thing to know your chart or get to know your chart. So I think that's a really good example. First and third house. Third house are things that are not a surprise.
Mm-hmm.
They're in your environment. So it would be not a surprise. It would be something you're aware of happening to like how you approach life in the first house.
Mm-hmm.
But like Rob was saying, it is an opportunity you have to look for. And I've really I've been playing with this a little bit. We've both been playing with this a little bit. And I have noticed that some of these types of sextiles would have passed me by because I wouldn't even have noticed. So where we can't go into, we don't know your houses and nobody's commented, you know, what their rising sign is. Maybe at some point we'll start doing horoscopes. Do you guys want horoscopes? That would be kind of fun. But these are just the major themes to be looking for. Where's that surprise? Where's that emotion?
So if you can pick it up, go with it, because the sextile is a helpful energy. You know, it's there to make use of. It's, you know, blending two elements that aren't naturally a fit, but have some ways to work together. So here's something to you know, make happen, take advantage of, work with, but it still might be kind of a surprise. But I'd say probably on the more positive side of things, ultimately.
Yes, ultimately.
The other thing that's happening in the sky, which is a biggie, is the nodes changing places.
Yes.
For the nodes, if you can imagine the path of the moon around the earth, and in astrology, the sun revolves around the earth as well. So imagine the two paths and where they may intersect, and we call that a node. There would be one on one side, one on the other side. Anyway, both sides, they're going to have a node, and those intersecting points of those two paths. So there's a north node, we call it, and a south node. And what this shows is where the eclipses are happening. If you can imagine the eclipse, the sun on one side of the earth, the moon on the other side, well, we could have a potential eclipse, or if they're in the same place in the sky, an eclipse, you know, a lunar eclipse, a solar eclipse. And so what we're looking at is a time frame of about a year and a half that the nodes travel through a sign. So they just finished going through Taurus and Scorpio, and now they're moving into Aries and Libra. And so again, look for Aries and Libra in your chart and what houses those fall in, because this is where the eclipses are going to start showing up for the next year and a half.
And if they travel the same path. So I think it's about 12 years ago. It was 2004 through, I think, the spring of 2006 is the last time they were in the same place.
So nine-ish years ago. Because it's 18 and a half years for a full cycle.
How did I thought I heard, yeah, I don't know. I thought I heard those dates. Didn't we hear?
2014.
Yeah, 2014 and 15, but then I also heard 2004 to 2006. So I did not fact check that, and I don't know if that makes sense. Does it? Is that 18 years? We'd have to do math. Our brains are kind of dead. We're tired. So if you look back at those times in your life, it could give you some themes as to what was going on. Yeah, that's right. That's right. If you go 2014 back. Yeah. So look at that 2004, 2005, 2006 time frame. It's in there. And then the 2000, do you say 14, 15 or 15? Yeah.
Yeah. And this is where you might understand some cycles, themes that might be repeating. You know, if for instance, the North Node is going through your 10th house and the eclipses show where change is taking place, then you would say 10th house, which is career or honors, reputation, achievements. You might notice major changes in the area, in those areas over the next year and a half. You know, if it was 7th house, relationships, whether marriage or business partner or legal battles, you might notice changes taking place in that area of life. And so the nodes are some of the more interesting things to track in astrology. Like, and I'm sure you do in your readings, like I do in mine, wherever the nodes are, we can just talk about those because we know that there's going to be 2 to 3 sets of eclipses in that year and a half time frame. So we know that's an active part of someone's life, and we can predict, change. Everyone asks, well, is it good change or bad change? And we're like, yes,
All of it's yes,
Yeah.
right? To me, what I found, and I think everyone's experience as we go through learning astrology and having clients, if you have planets in Aries and Libra or dominant placements in Aries or Libra, like it rules angular houses or planets, basically, you will feel this more. If you don't, it is a slow progression. That's, it takes a year and a half for the nodes to go through there. So it will be a slower shift. The people who are going to feel this more are the people who have dominant Libra and Aries.
Yay, that's me. So I have a planet in Aries. So I
think it is.
Yeah. So I expect, things to take, when the eclipses hit around that planet, that changes not only in the house where Aries is located and Libra, but whatever that planet signifies in a chart, we're going to see changes dealing with that planet in that area of life as well. So,
and it will be a polarity because it is happening in polarity. It's not just one house. So when we're talking Aries and Libra, they are opposite in the chart, and that's how the nodes always work. I know Rob already said that, but when we're specifying if it happens in the 7th house, it's not only the 7th house, it's the 7th and first house. It's not only the 10th, it's the 10th and the 4th. And so there's these opposite places in life where we are either slowly changing or getting hit with some pretty massive change around the times of the eclipses.
Because the eclipses will cycle back and forth. They're almost 6 months apart, 5.5 months apart, something like that, where it'll happen in one house, and then the next set of eclipses will happen in the opposite house. So in the case of like relationship, 7th house, if it happens in your 7th house, well, that's, let's say, the North Node, that might be, something changing dealing with relationships, but the next eclipse will happen in the 1st house. And if that's the South Node, that might be something that we're kind of looking at letting go of or moving from. And so the 1st house might be me-centered. So I'm having to move from being me-centered to we-centered, and so those dynamics are interesting, how the eclipses work back and forth in the houses, and they bounce back and forth. We could do that with all the different houses.
A really easy way to know when they're going to be activated, if you follow the moon cycles at all, is if the nodes, whatever signs the nodes are in, right now it's Aries and Libra, when the new moon and full moon come around in those signs, you will have eclipses. So that's just a really easy way to track it. So during Libra season, we will have a solar eclipse in Libra and a lunar eclipse in Aries. So that's just, as long as you keep track of what sign it's in. I didn't write down any of the dates this week, but I know there's the first one's October-ish.
Yeah.
So we listened to a really interesting video that I loved, and I really, I liked it. It was more based on Vedic or Indian astrology and speaking to how it's not just releasing. If you know a little bit about the nodes, at least me, you've heard let go of the South Node, let go of the South Node, let go of the South Node, go towards the North Node, go towards the North Node, go towards the North Node. And I really loved this philosophy, and we're not going to get deeply into it right now, but that it's it's a bi-moving current river. Like, it's not just if the south nodes in your first house and north nodes in your seventh house go towards this, let go of this. It's how can I balance this? Because sometimes in the video we were watching, they were saying you can almost become obsessed with where the north node is, and especially in your birth chart, to where it becomes a detriment. And so then you lean on the south node to give you the knowledge and understanding that you have. So we would be getting knowledge and understanding from our Libra side in this nodal change, because the south node is going to be in Libra. So what is that diplomatic, political, fair,
Grace.
Can be a little power controlly, Libra, and try to manipulate situations. I'm only saying that because I'm a Libra rising. Everyone that has Libra is like, what are you saying? I'm like, I know how to be really nice to get what I want.
Say the right thing.
And
look
it just
the right
comes
way.
so easy. And then I realized, oh. So that's a place where we can lean on, and also understand we're also working on, as well as the Aries. Take charge, go for it, be a warrior, go for things. We may become a little obsessed with that, so come back to the Libra side, or we may need to let go of that Libra side where we're like thinking about everyone, and go for the Aries side. Those are just the archetypes of Libra and Aries. Again, we don't know where it is in your chart, so we can't really give a thorough talk on that.
But the idea of, if it's true, you're born with the south node characteristics and you're good at them. If that's because you're the accumulation of past life experiences, which is what some astrology teaches. Great. I mean, so we're good at it. But I believe we don't let go of it. But if we focus on it, if we try and grow that part, then I think there's some stagnation. I think it's like, well, we're just falling back into old patterns. We're not pushing ourselves to grow. And so if we are looking at North Node, maybe it's not correct to say, once you've accomplished your North Node, you're happy, because you can't let go of South Node. But pushing towards North Node, you're learning new things, you're experiencing things that maybe you're not good at, unless you have some planets there that kind of bring that forward in your life. Ultimately, I think with creating a balance, you're not going to let go of stuff. You're not going to let go of what you're good at. But as you achieve these new directions, or this path, your life path leads you towards the North Node, I think you do naturally start to collect both, or get better at both. They start working together.
I really liked in that video how he said, and this is I've done zero experimentation, people, so just understand that. But I see in my life how it's a thing that the North Node can become very obsessive, and maybe not. So yes, try to create situations and learn in that area, but watch to where you're just like totally only, oh, I have to get this, I have to get this, I have to get this. And what I loved about the South Node piece was like, yeah, if you're just only focusing on that because it's more an inward energy, you could get stagnant. However, we're talking about the nodes of the moon. So this is an emotional thing. Both are emotional. So does it help us try to learn and grow and learn new things? Like I said, learn 5 times in that sentence with the North Node and gaining characteristics there. Yes, as long as we don't become obsessed, and the moon can be obsessive. and feel like it has to go out and get something new to be okay, when really we're okay inside. We can, we're okay. Life is good. If we sit back and take breaths, sometimes it doesn't seem like that. It can be really hard. I'm not saying it's not. But then to bring in that piece of like, well, our soul has a maturity with where the South Node is that can really help us gain a foundation and a clarity if we're getting out of balance with those two. I thought was really beautiful and very pertinent in my life. Rob and I listened to the video and I turned to him. I'm like, well, my brain's not going to say the word, because it spoke so deeply to a lot of the patterns I've talked about with, I don't even get the North Node or the South Node, because how am I supposed to do that? And it's really the North Node has caused some issues for me not being able to do certain things. And then if, you're just supposed to say the South Node makes you stagnant and not grow, like, how can that be? Because we know it. I don't know. I really liked the video. Clearly, I've done zero experimentation, but it did speak to me, especially when you're talking, they're the nodes of the moon. This is an emotional thing. It can speak to how you take care of your own moon and then those moon cycles and how it's bringing change in your life.
So how do you wrap that up?
I don't know. Yep. Good luck. There is a new moon though on Monday. Is that Monday? Whenever the 17th is. Are we that far in life? Are we already? What is the date? I don't know.
17th is Monday.
It is?
Yes.
Okay. So yes, I thought it was Monday. There's a new moon in Cancer. I feel really flustered that I didn't write, that I didn't say, because that is on my calendar. I have the bracelets ready for the new moon. It is a new moon in Cancer. So be thinking about that if you do intentions. This is a emotional new moon. It's the Cancer Leo axis because the full moon will be in Leo. So it's speaking to, and I think we've talked about this enough in other videos, but like, how do we emotionally feel about when we take control and go shine and be who we are? Are we good with that? Are we good with being on the stage emotionally, or does it mess with us? How are we feeling with that? Is it vulnerable? Cancer is about vulnerability. Do I feel safe? Do you feel safe shining in that area of your life? So if you're making intentions, think about that kind of stuff.
All right.
All right.
If you like what we're doing, if you like us talking about the transits, you want us to go live. Like today was the first time we've done live in the month. And so I think we've been doing it for 4 weeks, and this is our first live. So if you like the lives, or if you just want to catch the replay, comment, let us know what your thoughts are. If you like the content, if you like the format, we want to hear from you. And if you like it, share it with other people.
Please like and share. That's the only way to grow and get the information out. And I feel like if we get a stronger following, that will give me such a better push to do horoscopes. Horoscopes can be kind of befuddling in the brain. They're fun. You want to put the time in when you know people are going to be there and get the information.
Yeah. So let us know your thoughts. Comment away and ask for what you want, and let's see what we can work into this. So we plan on doing a live not a live, but I'm like, what? Astrology. What? The Hump Day Astrology every Wednesday. Typically we film on Tuesday and then release it on Wednesday, but we want to do a live today just to check out how things are going with other people and who shows up, and let's
and we will see you at Astrology Club on the 21st.
Sounds good. All right.
Okay, I love you guys.
Take care.
Bye.